Hey everyone, it's Gary here, and just finishing up a workout, actually just finishing up half a workout. And it brought us to a point where I want to bring up a real important aspect of what we're doing here with SocrLabs. And in the background, I know the camera is making the letters reverse, but if you could read it in the mirror maybe, you'd see that it says Elite Soccer Training. And our initial shirts, you see the shirt I'm wearing, and again, it's backwards, but our shirts used to say SocrLabs Elite Soccer Training. And that was about, 3, 4, 5 months ago, until we realized that in a lot of ways we're better off not being elite. Elite soccer players are great to train. It's a lot of fun watching their skills and all. But one of the things that we're really good at is taking kids that aren't very good. They may not have the foot skills. They may not be the best kid on the team. They may be at the bottom of the pile. Maybe they have terrible skills. We've had some kids come in here that could barely dribble the ball, couldn't kick with their left foot at all. And we were able to quickly take those kids and turn them into a decent soccer player. Get them up towards that elite status, get them onto the starting field on their teams, or at least get them so they feel good about themselves. Sometimes that's all it really takes. I remember one kid came in here and he was clearly at the bottom of the barrel, and nobody has to tell them. They know. It's not like it's a mystery. They know. And one time he looks at me, and I always remember this because he gets done with practice, and I was telling him what a great job he did, and he looks up at me and says, hey, he doesn't speak English real well, so he looks up at me and says, hey, I'm not the shit anymore. I was like, what? He goes, I'm not the shit anymore. I looked at him, I said, what do you mean? He said, well, when I first got here, I was the shit. He goes, I knew I was the shit. He goes, everyone knew I was the shit. He goes, I'm not the shit anymore. And he was right, because after about 2 months, he was actually a really good soccer player, and some of the parents that were coming in were asking what team he was on, and they found out he wasn't even on any travel teams, and they were all recruiting him to get onto his team. So we switched our mentality. We thought, we're not going to just try to appeal to the elite soccer players. Again, they're fun. We do a great job with them, but it's actually more satisfying to take someone who's not elite, someone who's, again, mediocre, bottom of the pile, and quickly turn them into someone who's enjoying the game, that gets out on the field, gets more minutes, and feels good about themselves when they get off the bench. Or, like I say, sometimes I make the starting position. So this represents more what we are, a high-tech soccer development center. We have all these tools in here, which I'll talk about some more in the future, but not today. Now, the reason I shot this video today, the reason I got inspired for it, was I actually had a one-on-one elite training session today. And I tell you, it couldn't have gotten more frustrating for me, because here's a kid that has all the skills, all the DNA, all the talent, all the head starts that a person could ever have, and just doesn't want to do the work. When I'm outpacing them, when I'm beating them, when I'm able to outplay them in the ring of fire, when I can do basic box jumps, when I can do the speed drills faster, that's a problem, because I'm not at the age of these kids. I'm not in the condition of these kids. I don't have the mid-teens agility that I used to have. That might have disappeared a couple decades ago. So sometimes the elite kids, they don't work so hard. And again, you can't see this, but you see on our wall, one of the things we post is hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. And you really see that. You see these kids that are great, talented kids, and all of a sudden, they're not at the top of the pile anymore, because there's other kids that are coming up, that are hustling harder, that are working it, that are coming into the practice, and they're not stopping at the point we tell them to stop. These are the kids that we have to shut the lights off on to get them out of here. They do have fun here. Getting them out of the ring of fire is pretty difficult. But these kids are even doing box jumps. They're up on the treadmills. They're on the lateral trainers. They're doing the extra backpedal drills with the FitLight system. They're doing extra passes. They're doing extra dribbling drills in our agility lab. So they're doing these things, and they're actually coming up on these talented kids, and they're beating them. So again, elite kids, yeah, they're great. We like to have them here. It actually gives the other kids a target. But if you have someone that you want to get off the bench, if you have someone that you just want to make feel better about themselves when they're out on the soccer field, if you want to get someone more minutes, If you just want to see your kids happier out on the soccer field, bring them into SocrLabs. We'll get them going very, very quickly. Not 3 months, not 6 months, not 8 months later, but 4 to 6 sessions. You will see a visible difference in the way they kick the ball, handle the ball, dribble the ball, and it's because of the amount of repetition. It's the number of games they're playing here in the lab. They're playing an equivalent of 8 games, 10 games, and that's only on half of our section. The other half of the section, again, I'm just going to flip the camera around, but we call this the rubber. What it really is where we do a bunch of the biomechanics, a lot of neural pathway reaction type drills. So in half of a session, they're getting 8 to 10 game equivalents of touches. And I know I've seen those programs too that say, oh, get 1,000 touches, 10,000 touches, but all they're doing is taking the ball and taking it, pulling it back, moving it sideways, pushing it forward, moving it the other way. And yes, those things are valuable. They do get touches on the ball, but it's not like getting real game type passing, receiving, turning, pass, receive, turn, and then dribble, pass, receive, turn, dribble, pass, receive, turn, dribble. To me, those are the real game touches. Those are the touches that really count because that's what they're doing out in the game. They're not standing in the middle of the field, pulling the ball backwards, pushing it forwards, going heel to heel. Again, they're all good skills. There's nothing wrong with it. Every touch is good. But if you want to really get equipped for the game, if you want to perform better in the game, you have to play like you're in the game. You have to practice like you're in the game. And that's what you're getting at SocrLabs. You're getting the biomechanics, you're getting the speed, you're getting the dynamic reactive training, you're getting the neural pathway training that we're doing. And then you're still getting all that other touch. Okay? There's nothing like the Ring of Fire to get kids motivated, to keep them passing, kicking, running, chasing. It's just an incredible drill for these guys. And you combine it with all the other things we're doing, and there's really nothing better as a complementary practice for kids that are playing soccer. Now, we tend to get big crowds in the winter, but it's not just the winter that you want to come in and get this type of training. We're indoors, but we're not an indoor center, as most people believe when they think of indoor soccer. When most people think of indoor soccer, they're thinking of basic building, turf, couple goals, essentially outdoor soccer brought indoors, but that's not what we are. We are a totally different environment. We're more analogous to the weight room to a football team where they're doing the complementary training. They're not learning how to play football per se in the weight room, but they're getting stronger, faster, and more powerful in the weight room. So when they get out on the field, they're able to kick harder, block harder, tackle harder, run faster. Here at SocrLabs, we teach them how to react faster, how to have better technique, how to use their right foot, their left foot, weak foot, strong foot. We make sure they can cut left, cut right. We make sure that when they're coming around in one direction, they're using their left foot. If they're coming around the opposite direction, they're using their right foot. Where most kids will try to just compensate and come around the ball and use their strong foot all the time. So again, I'm going to show you more of the equipment that we're using, more of the high-tech gear that we use to accelerate the learning curve of these soccer players. But the most important thing from this message is what our message is. Our message is high-tech indoor development. It's not, whoops, let me get that in the screen. And again, I know it's backwards, but it's not elite soccer training. Again, elites are fun, but I tell you, there's nothing more satisfying than getting a kid who thinks he's the shit and getting him to believe he's not the shit anymore. And to have parents going out and trying to recruit this kid onto their team. To me, that's the amazing part of what we're doing here at SocrLabs. All right, this is Gary with SocrLabs, and remember, get your free Soccer Pro software if you haven't gotten that, because there's the physical and then there's the mental. Soccer Pro is the mental side of it. Plus, they can have player pages, they can have all those different things that kids like to have, social media, sharing, highlights, et cetera, et cetera. So again, this is Gary with SocrLabs and Soccer Pro, wishing you a good night. Bye now.